Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends with a special guest here on today's video. We have none other than the mobile gamer here. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing amazing. How are you doing?
We're having a blast. You're talking about Raid Shadow Legends so much that we spent more time talking about it than recording this video.
Well, and then I'm also so excited to talk about Raid Challenge as I'm
Yeah.
willing to meet up with you at 7 a.m. my time. And what is it, 3 p.m. in the afternoon your time?
It
So
was. Yeah, that's when we started.
it was, yeah, now it's 8 and
That was-
4 probably, but that's how interested we are. We're making the sacrifice. Anyways.
So today we also did one on Mobile Gamers channel about the best game-changing legendaries, but on my channel on this video we're going to be doing game-changing epics, and I guess they're a bit more broadly available. Not everyone
Right.
has every epic, but I mean I think that you're more likely to I guess run across them than you would say the quote-unquote best
Right.
legendaries that are a bit harder to obtain, right? So
So out of it's what's wild is out of all the legendary characters in the game, we ended up picking some of them that were the same, or like
mhm.
one of them was the same, right? I bet you that's going to happen here today. I'm going to
it,
guess that we are
maybe.
going to talk about some of the same champions. I have a backup. Do you have a
I
backup?
have some backups. There's some in
I
my
have a
roster that
backup.
I've been using that are pretty good.
Okay, I have a
But before
backup.
we get
So,
started with that, I have to tell people, of course, that
whew,
if you haven't started playing Raid Shadow Legends yet, get out from under that rock and download using that QR code in the top right or in the link below to get Karato Fox Hunter of the
whew.
Shadowkin faction for free and these amazing epics to go with him. We have Ugo, Tagore, and my personal favorite, Deacon Armstrong, at accounts level 15, 30, and 40. And one more, we have two Hanorak. This is the legendary champion that I'm recommending for promo codes by using the promo code Desert Queen within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. I know we talked about a different one on yours, which I probably will be swapping to soon. Uh,
Yep.
but you can go watch Mobile
But but
Gamers
but
video for
but
that one.
the combo of characters that you have picked out is excellent.
There's reasons, but
I
there's a
yes,
method to my madness as to why
yes,
I
because
decide these
there is a
things.
method to match because we could split hairs on this one's a little better, but I think the total picture that you put together there is quite excellent. It's quite
I
good.
do like support champions, and I think a lot of perhaps we'll see of the people that we talk about today are probably support champions as well, but we'll see.
Oh,
So let's go. Let's
actually,
get started with your first
I
one.
did not. I
Oh,
went the
okay.
other
Well, mine
direction.
are. So maybe
Okay,
we won't get the same ones. So
okay,
let's
so
start with
maybe
yours.
okay. Let's go to dwarves,
Okay.
and we're gonna do what my opinion is best epic champion in the entire game. Guess that. Guess what is the best epic champion in the game?
Geoman.
Geomancer.
God damn. Okay, that was one of my picks. You said no
Yeah.
supports. You said you had no support. Well, okay, technically,
He's damage dealer. No,
is he though?
he's technically a damage
I
dealer.
considered him to be a support character, but you're right. Technically, he's labeled as a. Are you building him in a DPS set? I don't think so.
No, no,
But
he's got
he's listed
survivability.
as an attack character, but
No,
I
no,
disagree.
no, 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 no. The beauty of Geomancer is
This
that
yeah, he does so
does
much.
damage. You could
Yes,
build him
does.
for HP.
Yes,
Yeah,
his passive. It's his
yeah,
passive.
yeah. It's this. Yeah, and so it's hard to explain how, in some ways, is broken.
Mhm.
I heard that this was not necessarily what they wanted for this character. Like this character was too good to be true when they released it, and the story I heard is there was a lot of internal discussion about nerfing this character, and they just didn't.
Hmm.
And so there's a couple things. The main thing is that he does damage to bosses. Like this is a boss killer.
Yeah.
You can have I mean, if you're struggling in any content in Raid Shadow Legends, you could go in Geomancer plus 4. What I mean by that is take Geomancer and 4 support champions. You know what support champions are good in your account, a reviver, healer, whatever you need, right? And just try it. And there's a chance that'll work.
Hmm.
Also, because this HP burn does damage in a tricky way, he sidesteps a lot of triggers that happen when you go through percentages. So
Yep.
there's two in Ice Golem and the towers, what do they call Iron
Iron
Twins,
Twins
right?
Fortress. Yeah, this is where I use him. I
Yeah,
actually still use Geomancer
yeah,
in Iron Twins because he
y-
does.
Iron
Yeah,
Twins.
he skips the thresholds that trigger those abilities.
Yeah, so because when you cross over a threshold like 80% or whatever it is and all those things, then you're getting like double hit and all kinds of nasty things. But if that damage comes from this ability, which is significant, then you don't have to worry about that. And
Yeah,
even my first Chimera team was Geomancer +4. Like it's a thing. Doom Tower, Geomancer +4. I mean,
yeah.
just try it. There's
I mean,
so many areas where this is gonna work. Yeah.
he also fully depletes. This is a really great thing to have, to fully deplete a turn meter, and especially if you don't have that many great options. Maybe you didn't pull a cold heart, something like this. This is going to have
Yep.
significant PVE value as well, or just in general to other bosses as well.
But his damage mitigation, he does damage. You can
15%.
build him so he's not gonna die. You can build because when you have someone that's doing damage and they're fragile, that's a
Uh-huh.
mess. This guy's not fragile. And then yeah, his turn meter reduction, HP burn, he's gonna put weaken. Then he's got
It's
a
not
single
terrible.
target
Yeah,
cleanse.
decrease
No,
accuracy as
well,
well.
A-
That's not bad.
AoE accuracy. I
And
mean, you're not using him for and
buff
then right here,
stripping.
single. Yep. And then he flips it onto himself if they have HP burn on it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is great.
Really
Good
great
stuff.
champion. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, he actually,
yeah.
yeah. So I pulled him like luckily within the first 2 to 3 months of my account. I got super lucky
Yep.
on like an ancient
Yep.
shard, and he made a significant difference in terms of my
Yep.
progression in dungeons and basically everywhere that I could use him. So f you for
I
picking him because
don't
he was on my list, but I'll find another one.
know. Well, so this is like we get to pick out some of our epics
Yeah.
for our promo codes. They're not giving us
No,
this
they
guy.
won't. He's too good.
They
He's
won't
way
they
too
won't do
good.
this
Way too
guy.
good.
No, they won't. They
Unfortunately.
because I ask and they're like, yeah, we don't do that. And then I say, can I do Deacon, which you also have,
He's
right?
pretty. Yeah, he's
Well,
pretty good.
it's pretty good.
But
Yeah, but not the
he's
same as
not a
Geomancer.
he's
No,
not a geomancer kid.
no, no,
Well, that was a
no.
good start. I thought you were going to end with something like that, but let's go do one of my favorite ones here, and he's going to be of the Barbarians faction, and that's going to be my personal favorite fatty,
Oof.
Fahrakin
Yep.
the Fat. So, I actually was not a strong believer in this guy. Like, I had him sitting on my bench for a long time, and someone in my clan was like, "Boilon, you really need to rethink about using him." And as soon as I did, my demon lord and my clan boss damage in general just went way up. He does. This is kind of weird because he actually. I feel like he should be like the opposite of this though. Like he deflects 20% of his damage to everyone else. I feel like he should absorb damage they take, but I'm just splitting hairs at that
He's
point.
actually kind of squishy, frankly. He's kind of squishy.
Yeah,
Yeah, or
maybe
can
that's
be.
why,
Yeah,
because he's supposed to spread his damage to others and not take
yeah.
it. But when you see someone that's like a fat guy, you're supposed to. I would assume that he's supposed to take the damage, but that's just me. The big part of him is his A3, right? It's that ally assist,
Mhm.
and this is really good everywhere. But it's also that you're getting the 30% crit damage, and if for whatever reason your DPS are not crit capped, then you get an additional 30% crit rate as well. But
Right.
this could be pretty helpful, I guess, on support characters who maybe aren't 100% crit and they do a little bit extra damage. That's always a
Well,
little bit helpful too.
it's kind of unique too because there's attack up almost everywhere, like our right.
Mm,
But this is on top of that, so that makes
yeah,
it unique. And then this is also super helpful in the most annoying dungeon out there, which is Fire
Fire
Knight,
Knight.
right?
Yeah,
Super
yeah.
helpful,
This guy's like
super helpful in Fire Knight.
almost. I wouldn't say essential, but he's the easy. I think he's the easiest obtainable ally assist character that's an epic. Whereas there are other ones that are legendary. There's Lady Mikage, but she's mythical, and I
Right.
don't have her yet still. So I think for
No.
Fire Knight hard especially, but even normal Fire Knight, he's going to
Oh
be the
yeah.
easier one to do. And also, I still use him in Demon Lord and
Yep.
Hydra too. He's in
He's
one of my Hydra teams. So
He's still in my Demon Lord team today. But there's more. But there's more.
yeah,
Go to the right. There's
he
more.
does more than just that too. He does put a
Yeah.
HP burn, but I want to actually talk because you brought up Geomancer, so he does conflict. So one thing we didn't talk about is that for Geomancer, you don't want another HP burn on the team because
Right.
it screws up Geomancer's passive. So don't run Fat and Geomancer in the same team because that's going to screw that around a bit. Does a little bit of extra poisons and then does a defense down, which is pretty solid. It's a 50% chance, but that's an extra 60% defense down on a A1, which is pretty solid too. If you don't have it on someone else, then you can at least get it from him that way, which is really important.
And any kind of like boss, clan boss or something like that, you kind of have to have defense down. You
Yeah,
got to get it from somewhere, right?
yeah.
And it was like, where are you going to get it from? And um, not having to seek out a separate character just for decreased defense, it's a nice thing to have. Even if it's only 60%,
Yeah.
a 50% chance, it's still very good.
And
Very
I
good.
think that's really the name of Raid Shadow Legends a lot in PvE and dungeons is trying to get as many debuffs and buffs as possible, or at least the widest range, right, to
Right.
improve your chances. And so he definitely covers quite a few different things, I think.
And I think that's the difference between legendaries and epics. I feel like oftentimes I was like, "Oh, I could do better here if I had this." And then there's like 5 or 6 things that I want, and then it's like, how many characters is it gonna take to do that?
Yeah,
And this guy does a ton of them, right? He does
mhm,
a ton of things, and that's where a legendary might accomplish more roles.
right.
If that's I feel
Might
like
do
that's
like
the
one extra
difference.
debuff, that a legendary might
Yes.
have, that kind of thing,
Yes,
and I can
exactly.
definitely
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to your second pick here.
Okay, so this is one that I've kind of had a love-hate relationship, and it's in the Knight's Revenant, and I've gone back and forth with her, but she's kind of blown me away of recent, and that is Whisper.
Okay,
And Whisper, okay, so first of all,
I have her
for all
now.
of you out there, you have her
I
now.
have her now.
Yeah, Christy Mack reference for sure. Never mind. You probably, I'm guessing
Might
there's
not
no
be. I don't
reason.
know who that is actually, so maybe.
I actually, knowing what I know by, I don't think you should know her. But anyways, oh boy, I love ruining other people's videos. It's so much fun. All right, this is one of the most bonkers damaged characters that I've ever experienced, and it's go to this the A2
Mm,
first.
right.
As long as there is Weaken out there, ignores all the defense. I
Wow.
can't
Yep.
explain how much damage this is, and also,
All
you
defense.
know
Wow. Yeah,
how
that's
like
really good.
100% of the defense. So as long, and she
Huh.
could put the Weaken out with her A1. So this right here, and then you get increased attack, increased crit rate. So there's a couple things.
Yeah.
Increased crit rate allows me to build her with less crit rate, so
Hmm.
those
Yep,
stats can
that's
go to
true.
crit damage
Mhm.
and attack. And because she's ignoring all the defense, I mean, if I have like Savage, Lethal, Merciless, I'm putting them on other characters because that ignore defense is so important. But I don't have to do that on her. Would it
Huh.
help on the other two abilities? But I could
Yeah.
basically, this allows me to go really, really hard on crit damage and attack. And the
Yep.
numbers are bonkers. Now, have you struggled with Amius?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I haven't cleared hard. I've cleared a couple of rotations on normal. I
So
did it this month actually on normal.
or even like show like there's just so many times where you just need to do a lot of damage. Now
Yeah.
that in it, so let's just put that out there. That A2 has crazy bonkers damage, and then where what happens is that she takes like there I've seen her take
Lots
like
of
4 or
turns.
5
Yeah,
turns in a row. Lots of turns in a row. So right here, so you have Lydia now that you finished Faction War. She synergizes, they synergize perfectly with each other. Lydia goes first and applies defense down and weakening and speed up, right? And then Whisper is coming in and doing this and taking another turn,
Hmm.
and then going into that monster damage, and then go to the passive. There's always a
Yeah, extra
chance of
turn, 10%.
just to take a an extra damage. So like I've seen it just where she's like boom, 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 like over and over and over and over and over again.
So she hits
And think of
multiple times. Is that a 10% per swing? Because a lot of her attacks, oh well, her A3 does 2 hits in her
I'm not
uh
sure actually. I'm
what
not
it,
sure. I just know I've seen her go like 3,
yeah.
4 times in a row. And like some bosses like Amius, you just need to kill him once and then you're done, right? For
Yeah,
that
that's true.
particular to get the rewards. And sometimes you just need a character like Whisper. He goes from the 2 forms. When he goes back into the form where he can actually die, you're worried about him healing up, and then you just get this god roll where Whisper where she just explodes him. All the damage.
And she
Just
does
boom, 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 boom,
20%
boom,
extra
boom, boom, boom.
damage on bosses, which is
Yep.
really solid too.
And then so you're gonna want defense down out there, which boosts the damage. You want weaken out there, and then the A1 does weaken on
Yeah,
the A1 basic attack.
extra turn.
Puts weaken out there. So go to the
I
A1 with the sword with the
yeah.
flames.
Yeah,
There you
yeah, yeah,
go.
yeah.
Puts weaken. Puts that weaken. So and here's the thing: if you're bringing in Lydia, you can build her without accuracy. So I don't need to put accuracy on her. I don't need to put 100% crit rate on. I don't need to put ignore defense. And I could go hard on speed, attack, and crit damage. I mean, because we have limited amount of resources. I mean, yeah. I mean, how many times where you get a champion or pull up a champion and it's like, yeah, this champion's good with like 9 million accuracy and 400
Yeah.
speed and
Yeah.
380% crit damage. And it needs to be a, a lethal set that you don't have paired up with Stone Skid. And you got to make sure there's enough survivability. And it's like, well, that's cool, man. But that's not the way it works for me. Being able to not worry about accuracy, not have 100% crit chance, not have ignore defense. It just makes a big difference on the pieces of gear that I could use to really make her explode the other team.
I think I need to
This is
probably put
I
a little bit more investment into her myself. I actually have her at 60, but I guess I just haven't used her so much, and maybe I need to give her a second shot now that I do have Lydia.
so we were talking about force supports and a damage dealer. I've done that in Chimera where she's the only damage dealer
Hmm.
and force supports and she can do it. She does so much damage where that she's carrying the entire damage load on the team, all of
She
it.
does have some good ratings, so I mean, I guess you're not the only one who believes in Whisper.
And she was the reason that I could 25 Shogun too. Shogun's kind of weird. I really I don't even know how I beat Shogun, to be honest with you. I know I did.
Which is raw
I know
damage. Whisper's raw
yeah,
damage.
yeah, it's just pure damage. Anyways, that's my story. I'm
Yeah.
sticking to it. Whisper's great.
Okay, so we're here for my second pick. I guess this is, I think, our fourth champion here on the video here, and I'm going to be choosing from Knight's Revenant, and I'm going to be talking about Rector Drath. Now, there's a
Okay.
couple of reasons for this. You can actually get Rector Drath pretty early on in the game through the Apprentice Pass. So if you do want to spend, I think it's I don't know, $15 US
Hmm.
dollars, something like this, then you
Hmm.
can get Rector Drath. Not for free, right? You do have to pay. I was about to say for free. She's not free, but still a very solid healer. I got lucky where I got to start, I think, with my promo link like way back in like February that contained Rector Drath,
Same with me. Yeah, this was
and
my promo
and this
character
was
link
my
that I
main
got.
healer for so
Hmm.
so long, and my main
Hmm.
revive character really as well. I
Hmm.
used Rector Drath for so much stuff. So
Hmm.
just starting with the A1, like already we're getting a 50% decrease attack or attack down,
Amazing.
which is really important. Like getting attack down, defense down, these are all really important for PvE bosses, things like that.
Yep. Yep.
Really solid heal. And also what's really unique about Rector Drath is the perfect veil. So
Yep.
I don't think, I'm not sure if there's many other epics at all that do an AoE perfect veil. This is a
No, it's
pretty rare
actually a
buff.
very it's a rare buff even on legendaries. I mean, unless you have like Arrow or Lilitu, there's not a
Yeah.
lot.
So
Perfect Veil is very important.
So
Yeah.
this reduces your damage taken, I believe, by 15%, but also it's very helpful in places like Hydra. I think we talked about on your video about the annoying
Yep. Yep.
the fear head, right? So this
Yep.
avoids that. But just in general, really solid healer and a damage mitigator too. And then of course has a single target heal, which goes right into a perfect veil as well after reviving. And until you get, I guess, Arbiter or just some better reviver, like this was the best I had on my roster. I used Rector Drath for like 6 months, maybe more, towards the
Mhm.
beginning of the game, and it was like my main reviver for Chimera, right? Because you know that in the Ram fight, like you usually lose your DPS because that damage reflection kills somebody, and Rector Drath was like my only reviver that I had for that. So I got some really good value out of Rector Drath. So I think if you're even if you're a mid game player, I don't know where we define mid game and raid anymore, but like
I don't know. I don't
it,
know what I don't
it,
know if I'm a mid game player.
but if you're in that early game and you have value for a healer and a reviver, Rector Drath is a very solid, especially for an epic character. She also does some additional extra healing as well through the passive, and I think extra resistance here if allies are under Veil or Perfect Veil, so it's an extra plus 50, so if that helps as well. So just overall, I think a really good support character that you can get if you're willing to spend a little bit of money at the start of your account. But in general, if you pull Rector Drath later, I think there's a good space for that as well if you need a support champion.
So I still use Rector Draft today in one of my Hydra teams. The Perfect Veil makes her so unique.
Mhm.
Over time, I think you come across other healers or different. The game is not, it's hard to say better on anything. It's just they're
They
different,
do
different
different
kinds of
things.
healers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, different type of revivers, but she heals and revives and gives perfect veil. And she has attack down.
Yeah.
Attack down you almost need in clan boss, right? So
Most
she was
most
on
PV
my
bosses where you're taking damage, I think this is definitely a good thing to have. So that's why it works against, I think, most PV bosses. Let's talk about your third pick, mobile gamer.
okay.
What's your third epic?
All right. So she's an orc and she is amazing at clearing
Oh.
waves, and that would be Seer.
Oh. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Over here. Yep.
okay, so she is kind of tricky to set up. Like
It's
this
all
this
this.
champion requires some prep, but this is a very unique ability right here where the damage increases according to the number of buffs removed. So this becomes kind of important in making dungeon runs faster, so she's kind of useless against the boss itself,
Hmm.
but in Doom Tower and let's say getting into the boss on Ice Golem, going through those waves in Fire Knight, she can wipe waves. So she does require some prep, meaning somebody has to go before her and give a lot of buffs, or so like Lydia, you
Hmm.
probably have just come across the Lydia train. Lydia is so good, right? Lydia comes down, puts defense down in weekend, and then she gives some buffs. And then maybe you throw somebody else to give some buffs. As Seer strips all the buffs, wipes the node, right? The node's dead. And then go into the next node, and let's say you have a cooldown reduction champion. There's a whole bunch of them that could do that. And then you do the same thing. So you're getting through those waves, all of the waves, and to get to the boss in like a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
So same thing with Doom Tower. Doom Tower is waves, right? And if you set it up that you have a buffer. You need a buffer, her, and then a cooldown reset. You could go through all the waves just like that. It requires some setup, it requires some prep. But it's kind of ridiculous. Like I've seen that hit the entire wave for a million damage each character. They're just
Wow.
deleted. Yeah, just deleted. So I
Yeah.
mean, every wave deleted. And then so it's just a hassle to set up. It
Hmm.
really is. It's like I feel like both Whisper and Seer required some finagling and some manipulation and presets and gear. It wasn't like intuitive. Like the first time I used both, um, the first many times that I used Seers, like I don't get it. But like if you look at these event dungeons, um, most of the people are clearing, above 25, like 26 through 30 with like with Seer. Seer wipes the waves and then you're down just to the final event dungeon boss. Then you're just
Yeah.
dealing with Shredder at that point. But then Seer dies off and that's fine. Thank you for your service. Bye now. Not useful on the boss whatsoever,
That's
but just
interesting. Yeah.
deletes the waves. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. I actually do have Seer, but I haven't really made a ton of use of her. Like I haven't done the setup, I guess, to speed tune or whatever I have to do to have them go in that certain order. I haven't really done that or made use of that myself. But I do use her in my Orcs Fashion Crypts.
Sure.
I
But
don't I don't have the
then you're
setup
depending on
properly.
this yeah, then you're dependent on the sleep, which is
Yeah.
an interesting mechanic, right? That's the best way I could do it. It's like, oh man, do you but she's good. I mean, it's just that. It's just how much the damage is insane. It just requires so much work to get it to do it the right way.
That's true.
And she does require accuracy. So and then so the general suggestion is on her is like to put her in your wish list for your epics because she really gets the full benefit at 6 stars.
Mm.
And 6 stars is kind of an important I mean and epics it's helpful, right? And then the blessing there's a blessing, crushing rend. Are you familiar with how crushing
I
rend
am
works?
familiar with Crushing Red because my favorite
All right.
champion has a 6 red. But anyways,
Okay. Do not use crushing rend anywhere unless you have a 6. Just don't use it. But
every
if you
hit will
have a
ignore. Yeah,
6,
this is crazy, especially on dungeons that have high level of enemies, like anywhere like 250 plus. You're talking
oh
about
yeah,
25% plus of ignore defense.
yes.
It's crazy.
Yes. And so it says will ignore 1% defense for every 10 levels. That becomes ridiculous in Doom Tower because the
Yep.
champions at the end of Doom Tower have, I don't know, like not character levels go to 60, right? But they go
I,
up to
I
like
I think it goes to 350.
300.
350
Yeah,
maybe
I don't know.
actually.
And so but also if you are going through your account and you have crushing rend and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, change it. Go. This is like the weirdest. This is like the weirdest. I mean, there's exceptions to everything,
Yeah.
right? But this is the one that works at 6 and not that well at
Yeah.
5. I
This
mean, it's
changed my life once I pulled a red of 6 red for Thol, and I know this video has nothing to do with him, but it did change my life getting a 6 red on him. That crushing rend is just absolutely insane. For any DPS character, this is insane.
mhm.
Absolutely
Yeah,
crazy.
and there's so many of my DPS champions, if I pull a 6, they're going to this. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, "Okay, I got it. They let you do 1 reset for free on Blessing, and then after that, it's what, 150?
Yeah.
But
it's not
it's
fun,
like they
but
just
yeah.
yeah, but then just change it.
Yeah.
So, and epics, like, first of all, you want getting a 6 on it's super hard to get a 6 on a legendary, right? But not that much on an epic. I mean, you just got a wish
I was
lister.
like,
Yeah, I think Whisper is a wish list character that I would think, but I think like if you have Seer today, put her in your epic wish list, and it's amazing when you finally get her to 6 red. Absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing, and I did one day I did, and I was like, cool, awesome.
Seer. I'm gonna have to try that a bit more. Let's go to my final pick for the video for today. And this one I haven't talked about in other videos, but something that I use a lot in my roster, and it's something that I want to let people aware of or know of. And that's going to be, where is he? Hotatsu.
Hmm.
So he's a defensive based character. I actually used him a lot in my climb for Demon Lord because I found that a lot of what he did was things that I needed. So what's interesting about him, if you put him in the lead, now I know there's different targeting algorithms for Demon Lord, but he tends to default, I think, with his stun attack to the leader character. I think where things change, I think, are the affinity bonuses and things like this. Um, but I actually found that he would often target Hotatsu, and Hotatsu can randomly remove that stun that he would normally get every 3 turns. And normally it would align well enough that it was always up when he got stunned. So that was kind of like a non-issue when I was running through Demon Lord. But he also gives tons of other buffs that are really. He's
Hmm.
actually kind of like a healer. Cause I don't feel that you really need a ton of healing in Demon Lord in general. Because once he gets to a certain point, you're just gonna get one shot anyways. But he gives a defense up buff to all allies, which is very very good. And you can get this on a cooldown of 3, so it's 2 turns up for every 3 turns. So it's almost always up. You get some healing as well, some regen here. He also gives Leech, and Leech is a really good debuff to keeping your guys healthy, right? If you have some good damage on your team, or even if you proc a War Master, which early on, you're probably going to have this on most characters, you're going to almost get a full heal from that through Leech. So having that as well, and then he also puts down attack down. So there's a pretty good range of buffs and debuffs that this character has for an epic character. And you can build them defensively because I love defense type characters where you can just stack
Yeah.
their defense because it improves their survivability, but their damage or whatnot, scales with defense rather than an attack based champion. So he survives really well. He puts out the buffs and debuffs that you pretty much need in clan bosses, and Leech is really nice to have on Demon Lord as well. So I
All
think he
right.
has a pretty wide range of kit utility, I think, for a character for an epic.
I'm glad you brought this character up because I've ignored this guy. I think I have a +4 on him too, but I haven't took him past 40. Like
Yeah.
I have just and it's I probably need to do him because I'm struggling right now in Shadowkin in faction wars. And what I'm finding is that I have tons of damage and stuns, but no heals. And then they randomly get one hit off, and I don't have a way of healing and or reviving. And then I'm kind of stuck. I'm really proud of you that you can do that. I can't do that, man.
Oh, I
I
have tons of gear
cannot
set.
do
All the
that.
gear set stuff. Yeah, I have. But I
Yeah,
have
I
a plus
can't.
4
I
Hotatsu. Maybe you can see here in the corner here.
Well,
So,
so let me ask you this. What do you do? Like, do you do much 9-piece stuff? See, I'm finding that I'm
um,
mostly using
I
9-piece stuff, and I can't do that with that particular feature in the game. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
well, you have to do a separate preset for accessories up here, right? So you'd have to set them differently. I actually don't have enough breadth of gear to do a full 9 piece. I can do like maybe 6 or 7, but like I don't actually have enough accessories at this point to for every faction to do that. So that's not something that I worry about too much. The only time where I change my accessories around would be, I don't know, Chimera when I'm setting up my resistance build for my various champions, and that I do change things around a bit. But otherwise, I don't actually flip my accessories too frequently. So it's
Yeah,
mainly just the main pieces.
I'm not swapping gear sets.
Oh,
I
really?
just don't
Okay.
like it. I think I got programmed when silver was such a big deal, and I haven't unwound that programming of the refusal to change gear sets.
Yeah, that's why
And
some of
now
my
that it's
characters are
free,
stripped a little bit because they like
yeah,
the assist. If I'm gonna use some of them, if I ever use Cantor of the Cyclone, I have a gear set where I would like a defensive set I would stick on her, and it does get annoying to have to swap it from time to time. Uh, but it's just I want to use the best gear that I can,
right.
and so I have
But
like a bunch of sets for that. And anyways, this was just I wanted to put gear on him just because like he was stripped
oh
at the
no, I
time.
get it, I get it. But I'm having a hard time with like six-piece merciless. I
Mm.
can't get a good six-piece merciless unless it's in the gear set in the
In the
accessory.
accessories,
And
yeah.
so it becomes like a mess to like use presets because you know where I'm going with that, right? It's just a mess, right? And
It's
I don't
not
know.
easy for the
Anyways,
accessories, but it is easier for the main 6-piece artifact
yes,
sets that I use the most.
yes,
And
yes.
but anyways, this is me just saying that I like Hotatsu, and I had him fairly early on though. Like so, he definitely does stuff that others can do. Right, like, and we said that legendaries often do one more or
Yes,
something of epics, and if you have that, that's great. But if you don't, if you need these things, he does a lot of things all in one character, like the attack down, the defense up. So these are two things that you definitely want to have in PvE dungeons. These are two if you need to do it in one character, and the leech for Demon Lord, and just I should not even just Demon Lord, but any PvE bosses, leech is a good debuff to have, right? Because you heal through damage. So I think he does a good thing. He can also shake himself out of ice golem freezes, so that's not bad either. So there's lots of different applications of
yeah.
Hotatsu if you need a character
I'm
like this.
looking at mine. And I'm like, why haven't I upgraded this guy? I'm so glad that you brought him up. Because I need that in Faction Wars. I was really struggling in Shadowkin Faction Wars
And actually,
because
the defense
Mikage
aura
is a pain.
isn't terrible. So I actually used this for my Ice Golem because I found that the way I built for Ice Golem Dungeon was more defensively. I wanted to survive. It took a little bit longer to clear, but I
Right.
found that like because his club hits pretty hard if you accidentally trigger that too many times, or if you trigger it with the minions up, it does a lot of damage. So I try to go more on the defensive side when I clear Ice Golem. So
Yeah.
he's definitely helped me there.
Yeah. Ice Column. Ice Column is my
It's my slowest clear.
use. Yeah. Well, Seer sped it up from like 8 minutes or whatever it was down to 3 minutes. So it's like Geomancer plus a bunch of supports and then Seer for the waves, and then Seer dies off, and then it's just Geomancer standing around and waiting for him to kill himself. It takes forever.
Yeah. So that's our 6 epic champions. I'm sure that there was others we obviously could have covered here today, but these were just the 3 that we picked ourselves that we thought made the biggest impact to our accounts. I'd also be
I would
curious. I'd be
I
curious
would
about
say that
everyone
you
else's epics, and post in the comments down below which ones made a big difference for your account.
but for real, the 3 free ones that you get with your link
Yeah,
could have been on this list.
yeah,
I'm serious.
and
I didn't talk about them because you already had them on.
good
But
good
those
segue. I do
3,
have another video.
yep.
So use the QR code in the top right to get Karato Fox Hunter. Not he's the legendary, but honestly, these guys are just as good as other legendaries too. Ugo, Tagor, and Deacon Armstrong are all very solid epic characters. They could very well be legendary characters too, and you get them all for free. And then of course, I'll just throw in there that you can get to Hanorak. The legendary support is great, right? You need support in Raid Shadow Legends. So I'll use your phrase: run, don't walk. Use
Yeah,
Desert
Rondo
Queen
one.
in the first
Yeah.
48 hours of a brand new account. Any last words?
You're the best. No, your link is great. Like you were talking about, we're debating all these epics. Those epics are going to do you right. They absolutely are.
Thanks for coming to the channel, Mobile Gamer. And of course, there's going to be a link down below for our video that we did on your channel about legendary characters, and we'll see.
It's way better than this video, by the way.
And to everyone else watching who made it this far, thanks for watching it. I'll see you guys all on the next video.
Bye
And
for
if you
now.
like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if
Hey,
you haven't already, and you'll be
throw
greatly
your,
helping out the channel.
Throw your
Have a great
promo
day,
on
and
the
I'll
screen.
see
I'm
you
gonna
guys
record
on the
it so I
next
can
one.
send it to my editor. I want him to do. It's not gonna be like yours exactly, but I want to. Let's see here. How do I do this? Yeah. Yeah. Just throw it on the screen real quick.